Today we are featuring Energy Conversations with Thokozile Zambane. With nearly 15 years experience across the energy value chain, Thokozile is also an infrastructure lawyer and entrepreneur who has played a pivotal role in developing and financing South Africa's early renewable energy projects under the IPP program, while providing advisory support and capacity building for development finance institutions across Africa. Thokozile is also the creator of Energy Conversations, a pioneering podcast launched with Wits Business School that translates complex energy issues into accessible human-centered narratives. The platform now reaches listeners in over 60 countries, connecting communities, youth, policymakers, and industry leaders, and serving as a credible hub for dialogue, capacity building, and thought leadership in Africa's energy sector. Having also founded, because she's such a busy woman and because Odeze and blind, she also founded Kani Development Solutions. She drives initiatives like Read Power, which delivers power solar lights to underserved communities, creating tangible impact and advancing inclusive energy access. Her work bridges policy, industry, and community, making her and Energy Conversations a compelling platform for high-level partners seeking meaningful engagement in Africa's energy transition and sustainable development. Her profile is longer than this, but I've run out of power and energy because my batteries are flat already. So maybe she can come up.
You outside.
Please go put me on the roof, like your uncle used to do with the PM10 battery.
I'm about to take you outside.
Thokozile, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Oakland,
Get sharp.
you're doing amazing work, man.
I'm
Yo.
trying.
Like, what is this? like looking back at 10-year-old you, like, do you remember what 10-year-old Thokozile was dreaming about? Sitting in grade 3 or grade 4?
I think 10-year-old me she wanted to be a lawyer. I think I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was 6. It was either be a lawyer or a gangster's daughter. I don't understand the gangster's daughter thing. Don't ask it. That doesn't make sense. But wanted to be a lawyer, and I eventually did do that. But I think she'd be proud that I went beyond that. Right?
Or one day you might have to defend a renewable energy gangster in court, and then adopt it. And then the dream completes itself. Exactly. Thokozile 101, from birth to right now in 1 minute.
1 minute. Born in Pretoria, last born of 3 daughters. My mother was a nurse, my father was a businessman. I grew up in Pretoria, went to school in Pretoria, primary high school, varsity. I went to the University of Pretoria, where I studied BCom Law and LLB. From there, went on to do my articles, came to Joburg, the city of gold, for articles. Did articles at Worksman's Attorneys, became an admitted associate there, and an admitted attorney and an associate in the team, and then joined Norton Rose Fulbright, a global law firm, where I was there for the bulk of my legal career, until eventually being headhunted to become a strategist for a German utility that was coming into the South African market, and they were looking for somebody to help them submit their bids in the Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Program. And that was in 2015. Great job. We got to go to Germany, road-showing projects until I got retrenched because the German entity decided to leave the South African market. Unfortunately, they had issues in Germany, and that's when my entrepreneurial journey started 10 years ago. I'm 10 years old this year, my baby Kani. And in that time, got involved in a number of different businesses. So I spent about 5 years developing power projects under private PPA with private clients. Also tried to develop some projects in Mozambique. Got involved in various businesses across the value chain. There was a point I owned a manufacturing entity, had a capital equipment business. With my partners, we also had a mining services business, which focused on fire protection. Passionate about training and empowering people. So that's really how Read Power was born. It was really realizing that I'm working on these big projects, but what happens to Sisdoliko Soweto who doesn't have access, Sure. And in fact, it's not even just Sisdoli, it's the children in the house, because prejudice compounds, right? So lack of access to electricity, the impact that it's having on our kids. South Africa's already got an 80% illiteracy rate, right? So 8 out of 10 South African kids that are 10 years old cannot read for basic meaning. And that's not about language.
Exactly.
And that's what we were trying to solve for. I do a lot of facilitation. So I've trained over 20 development finance institutions across the continent around project appraisal and project finance. And I spent about 5 years, almost 4 years working with an infrastructure fund manager because I realized...
Don't stop, but your minute is up. But
I know. Sorry, I'm going to wrap it up. But then I spent about the last 4 years trying to raise an economic infrastructure fund. We were trying to raise 1 billion. And because I'd been across, sitting across different seats in these boardrooms, I realized, every man has a voice, but money is the volume.
Yes.
So for me, I was like, imagine
Yes.
I could manage that. Until I turned 40 last year and decided, wait, man, what speaks to you more? Are you about the money or are you about the community? And I then pivoted fully back into my baby because I then had been busy with other people's children and now I'm with my baby.
Retrenchment 101. At an emotional level, let's talk about that.
Sure. Retrenchment, I felt like at that point I'd done everything right. I studied law. I was a lawyer. Imagine what kind of lawyer gets retrenched. And I think we always have job security. So it was really, it was a tough play. It was tough, but it was actually the push I needed because just before the retrenchment...
So the curse was the blessing.
Yes, definitely. Because literally, I remember telling my friend just as we'd been retrenched, I'm like, oh, Joe, I've lost my job. She's like, yeah, but you've been going on about you want to do your own thing. So maybe this is an opportunity.
Mudimo is Popeye.
Yeah, Mudimo about Lena sometimes.
That's a
Daddy
Popeye.
baptism of fire, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. But
You need the
yeah.
fire sometimes, just to wake up.
Just to wake up. So it was actually really the blessing because I would have never been this person if I wasn't pushed. I would have probably been in a law firm, been a partner, maybe heading up a team, but I don't think I would have been on this very exciting journey.
Just to stay with that retrenchment, why didn't you go back to law and seek out that instead of pursuing your own journey?
So actually, in that moment, because I just left law, so that would have been the easy choice.
Yeah.
My former employer was always like, dude, you can come
Come
back.
back.
But for me, I'd then seen too much. In that little stint, because I'd always felt like in a law firm, gotta we just plate the food. So somebody out there kills the animal, brings it and we plate it. So now in that time of working outside of a law firm, I was like, hi man, Santa the Hunt is so nice.
can't unsee
I couldn't
now.
unsee it. And I'd also, they flew me on business class. I thought, hey, maybe there's more of this. In life. So for me at that point, I couldn't go back into the box.
Okay.
Ghani Development Solutions. Let's talk about this baby
Yes.
of yours. What's the bigger plan for her and what are her milestones so far?
So the bigger plan for Ghani is to enable Africa to lead its energy and sustainable future through access, awareness, and ability. And the broader plan is really just to solve for the fact that there's a big disconnect between policy and people. There's a big disconnect between capital and communities. And that's really the gap that Ghani operates in. I've been fortunate enough to be on the other side of things. I've been fortunate enough to work in communities. And I think Ghani's then that bridge. So we've had great work that we've done, launched the Energy Conversations podcast with the Wits Business School. That was a great success. We recently... developed a digital tool, a digital tool with the World Bank, which was really aimed at aggregating green economy opportunities. So we're looking at piloting that in Mpumalanga. We've also done a lot of work in capacity building tech. So I've got a bit of a passion for tech. So we've also developed an enterprise training tool called Capacitate because my view is firstly we need to ensure people are aware because once they know they can then participate. They can then be like, oh, something's happening. But secondly, we need to give them ability because now that you have the knowledge, how do you then participate? And that's where obviously our tools like Capacitate comes in. And then the last thing is access, because now that you have taken them on this journey, let's connect you to opportunities. So here are the opportunities. You are now ready. Let's flourish, Black child.
It's 25 minutes after 9. We are featuring Energy Conversations and Thokozile Zambane is in the building. Her baby is Ghani Development Solutions, and from Ghani had a baby, so the granddaughter, Energy Conversations.
Thokozile, now, I'm always fascinated by someone that leaves corporate and then becomes an entrepreneur. For you, for many, I say entrepreneurs, they'll have the idea and say, okay, in my head it works, but now what? How did you get past that? Who do I go to?
Sure, I'm still getting past that, hey, because I think you live in your head a lot as an entrepreneur. You live a lot in your head, and the only way that I have been able to get past that is I'm a really action orientated person. I'll try it. Like I've said, I've tried different businesses.
Correct.
So okay, that was probably not a good idea, right? Let's move on. But what also has helped me so recently now in having more clarity and driving this baby forward has been getting good thinking partners. So I have one great thinking partner, Aset. He's a strategist where, he basically, he's helped me like process the thought, because as an entrepreneur, you can feel like you're busy, but you're busy doing nothing. At the end of the month, bank account to
You've done nothing. It shows you.
But diary says you were busy.
But it's like you're busy. You go to meeting, you go to coffee, you go to conference, So for me, that's been it, to be able to just have thinking partners that steer you and say, okay, actually, what are you trying to achieve? And then what are the low-hanging fruits that you can immediately act on so that you can, so I think what's also helped is studying further. Because I don't think entrepreneurs, corporate, there's a plan, there's a learning and development plan for you. But as an entrepreneur, you have to be really intentional about that as well. I mean, I spent about 2 weeks ago at UCT Graduate School of Business at the Bertha Center studying a course on systems change and social impact, because what's also important as entrepreneurs, because we can feel insecure sometimes in these spaces, even if you have experience. But it's always good to be, why you learn more is because you need the language of the room. You need to be able to walk into the room, and from there that also helps you increase your network, because now I paid to go to UCT, flights, what, and as an entrepreneur I'm like, but the people that were in that room then were also able to open up opportunities.
And they know you exist now.
And now they are, guys, I was go G20 side events.
You see.
Exactly. More staging.
Exactly.
Like, just because I've put myself out there.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So don't sit in your little corner feeling sorry for yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of the self-empowerment growth means you must dig deep in your pockets. But it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary evil. If anything, it's a networking opportunity. So don't sleep on that. Let's talk about energy conversations. Who needs to listen to or watch this podcast?
Ordinary South Africans, hey? Yeah. Anybody in South Africa, from energy professionals to just, somebody who has no idea what's going on. The point of energy conversations was really to demystify the energy sector. It was born in a time like load shedding was sky high. Everybody's questioning what's going on. And for me, I've always felt like the energy sector is the juiciest secret. Like, no one knows this thing. And the worst thing is we speak amongst ourselves in conferences and boardrooms. So this podcast is about me saying, hey, this is what I get to hear in conferences and boardrooms. Here, let me put it in your living room so that you at least can understand. So are you interested in what is battery storage? Sure. Green hydrogen? Sure. Electric vehicles? So season 1, we've just wrapped up season 2, guys. Yay. Season 1 is actually a foundational masterclass on understanding the energy sector. Yes. If you've ever wondered. It's like a 101. Yeah, it's a 101. And in fact, we've even grown beyond that. So now in season 2, we developed our Energy 101 series where we repurpose some of this content. Thank you, great work of the World Bank, where we were able to pilot this in Mpumalanga, and little 1-minute clips, little 45-second radio reels, where we then even translated it, because also what's important in our growth now is translating it into a language that makes sense to our people.
Yes.
Because so for me, energy conversations is for anybody that is in this country, because whether you like it or not, energy impacts your life.
Yes.
You can't hide from it. So you might as well try and understand it and hopefully try and make money from it.
Exactly.
Speaking about making money, who needs to be in partnership with Kani Development Solutions? Who are you targeting, and what are some of the solutions that you're offering?
And opportunities right now.
Yeah, so I'm targeting, any sponsors, so any corporates, development finance institutions, organizations that are really committed or understand the fact that once informed communities and inclusive communities are really what's going to drive the future. So while we're busy building the power plants, we need to be working on making sure that people actually understand, so that they aren't fighting against the power plants, so that they can find themselves in this space. I mean, we've been able to, for example, one of our success stories is one of the team members. He's never been in the sector. The Soho, from just listening to the podcast, has come up with so many amazing amazing ideas. He writes content about, no, there's no power in the township and this is what's happening. He's coming up with community solutions like a Stockfell mini grid. I'm always like, yo, listen, he leads conversations, writes content. So that's kind of the impact that I'm wanting. So anybody who's looking to see real impact, looking to see South Africans be part of the solution, that's who I would love to partner with. And obviously our expansion plans, because hey, Africa belongs to us all. Now we're moving into Africa energy conversations, because we need to have regional conversations. What's happening in West Africa matters to you here. What's happening in the North matters to the East. So we all as Africans need to understand that. So it's growing this. So people who want to, be part of an African energy conversation. And then also this literacy campaign that I mentioned, making it wider and broader than in Mpumalanga.
So where do we reach you? How do we reach you?
You can reach me at thokozile@kani.co.za, thokozile@kani.co.za. Do I give my number as well?
No,
I guess sure. Yeah, no,
don't
plus I'm not sure. But yeah, you can reach me. And our website is www.kani.co.za, www.kani.co.za. We're actually launching a new website today, so log in there in the evening and see the great stuff we've been doing.
You, Togo, you kick butt. If no one's ever told you this, you kick butt. And I love your passion. Because half the battle is won with the energy we throw at the battle. The mindset we bring to the battle. You know what I mean? And I think you're bringing the right energy, unavoidable, to what you're doing. So please keep it up.
I will try. Go and see my guys, yeah. But we push on.
And to people wanting to upskill themselves or learn more about industries they're in, even your Ivy League institutions have a lot of free courses you can do. It doesn't have to cost you a cent. All it would cost you is data and time. So search the internet. There are free courses out there that will help you be a better entrepreneur or be a better version of whatever your chosen career is. So let's not hide behind, but I can't afford it.
Can I even just a little, maybe even sharing with those entrepreneurs. So this season, we added new segments. So we added youth and energy conversations and entrepreneurs and energy conversations, because I wanted young people to lead the conversation.
Yes.
So brought in new hosts and they run that segment, the careers. And then entrepreneurs was also specifically to deal with that. Like, how do we help entrepreneurs participate, not only in the sector, but just broadly. So I would actually encourage people to go look at the segment. We've got 4 episodes focused for entrepreneurs. First is around, how do you navigate the sector as an entrepreneur? And then the last 3 are really just general for anyone. So from invoicing, from CIPC to invoicing, what does that look like once you've gone to CIPC? The second one is investment readiness.
Sure.
So how do you make sure the funder comes? So there we had an entrepreneur, utility founder. They've raised about 500 million. When you hear what that guy says, you then think, I don't think my house is ready for money here. And that's been important. And then the last episode was market readiness, guys, because you have to be ready for this market and solving problems. So I would also encourage your listeners to check that out.
Your Honor, I rest my case. Ladies and gentlemen, Thokozile Zambane from Energy Conversations,
Awesome.
The baby of her other baby, Kani Development Solutions. Let's show them love. If anything, just give them attention so that we also learn about the energy value chain. Energy is around you. You yourself are energy. So don't think that Agidi Keni. If you don't care at them, someone else will care at them for you. And then you're going to complain and say, why am I in a room I never asked to be in? We're all in this room, guys.